Oh, come on, people!
Who would you say is the main character in South Park? Let me know in the comments because I'd arguably say it's Stan Marsh. And in this video we'll be looking at two of my favourite Stan-themed episodes, both of which are from Season 15. And I'll start off by saying this collection features some extremely memorable moments for the show. Kyle agreeing to become a human centipede, Cartman murdering his beloved stuffed animals, Kenny going into foster care, but what really stood out to me was Stan's struggle with depression and the unexpected usage of continuity within the show. The episodes I'm referring to are You're Getting Old and Asperger's, and as cliche as it sounds, change is a significant part of life. It's scary and unpredictable, but it's natural, and to the surprise of many, this storyline almost made permanent changes to the show going forward. Season 15 was the first full season of South Park I watched as it aired weekly back in 2011, and this was also known as the Year of the Fan, celebrating the show's 15th anniversary, and with this came an increase in merchandise, such as a mini-series of figures by Kid Robot, actual edible cheesy poofs amongst other things. Plus, Comedy Central aired the infamous documentary 6 Days to Air, and this revealed the full creative process behind the making of an episode from start to finish, and fans even got the opportunity to vote for their favourite episodes, where show creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone responded to these choices. For several years, Comedy Central aired South Park in 2 runs consisting of 7 episodes in both the spring and then the fall, but when You're Getting Old concluded the Season 15 spring run on a cliffhanger, something didn't feel right. The plot was left unresolved, there were no hints at this being a 2-parter, it just ended, and learning that I'd have to wait the entire summer to find out what happens next, yeah, that was pretty rough. It provoked quite the media response as well, with outlets speculating on whether this was the beginning of the end for the series, which Trey and Matt tried their best to debunk.
Yeah, there were just a lot of people that really thought we might come back for a season, but that's about it. And all the articles that came out was like, does this mean the end of South Park? And we were like, no. but
I can see why. But I looking
totally
back,
see why,
I can see why, even though we kind of didn't mean it that way.
Stan's 10th birthday party is treated as an allegory for the struggles of growing up and moving on, and having his party at the Whistling Willie's Pizza restaurant, he's unwrapping his birthday gifts like normal with all of his friends, but one present Stan receives becomes the catalyst for a downward spiral of emotional turmoil. Kyle gives him a music CD of a tween wave band that Stan's mother doesn't want him listening to. It's apparently a bad influence and she immediately confiscates it, but like most children who are told not to do something, they still find a way of doing it, and he finally gets the opportunity to listen to these tunes, but ironically, he doesn't like what he's hearing at all. Yes, it's super juvenile, but the fart noises are supposed to show how Stan's perception of the world is changing. Things that he used to enjoy no longer hit the same. And it's gradual, but it does get significantly worse. Clearly, Trey was having too much fun with this, especially with the duck presidents. Similarly, I love how his father Randy tries forcing himself to enjoy the tween wave music just to spite Sharon. This woman really has put up with a lot over the years.
I think it's awesome!
Randy is insecure about aging, and in his mind, if he admits the youthful music of today sounds like shit, he's therefore accepting that he has gotten older. Stan explains what he's been experiencing to his friends and ends up seeing a doctor who talks a load of shit, both figuratively and literally. He's told that he's just being a cynical asshole, nothing's good enough, and he's negative about everything, therefore making him a burden to be around. Even his friends start avoiding him, and this next sequence is arguably the funniest moment from the episode. Giving Stan one last chance, the boys see a movie together, but they can't even sit through the trailers with Stan's negativity. With a comedic assault on films like Jack and Jill, yeah, I'm with Stan on this one.
Oh, God.
We have seen Stan and Kyle fall out before, but this time it felt different. Stan is deeply troubled and unhappy, and for Randy, all of this arguing culminates into a surprising revelation for him. He too is unhappy. He's been acting up because his marriage is unfulfilling, and deep down, he's frightened of getting old. And what's even more surprising is how Sharon agrees that she is also unhappy. And being very literal with the Deus Ex Machina reset trope, her frustrations stem from the same things happening every single week, then going back to normal with the typical reset trope. Obviously, this is Trey Parker commenting on the series itself, but according to the episode commentary, it really isn't that deep.
Getting interviewed by all the press, and they're like, so everyone's saying about the last episode, it seems like you guys are done. Is that it? Is South Park over? And we were like, no. Looking back at it, it kind of does look like we're kind of saying we don't want to do this anymore, but it's not really what we were saying.
And so, with the married couple splitting up, Sharon moves away with Stan and Shelley, leaving Randy behind to pursue his music career as Steamy Ray Vaughan.
You mean that guy that plays the blues and died in an airplane crash?
No, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Steamy Ray Vaughan just shits his britches.
I'll have to check that out.
After the episode aired, media outlets such as Entertainment Weekly speculated on whether Trey and Matt were trying to make a statement with this story. If the title was anything to go by, maybe they're just getting too old to be doing the same thing every week. There's no serialization, or at least there was no serialization, something the show did experiment with in more recent seasons, but with no immediate resolution, Stan's world is tipped upside down where he suffers in silence. And I think it is fair to say we've all experienced depression to some extent, regardless of how severe. When the low mood hits, the world around you just isn't the same. And the continuation of this storyline throughout the Asperger's episode sees Stan struggling to adapt to his new life. His parents are now separated, his friends have moved on, and the world around him, from his point of view, is still shit. I applaud the writing for this opening sequence, illustrating a relatable portrayal of depression. From the moment he wakes up, Stan doesn't really engage with the world around him. He goes about his day because he literally has no other choice, but his silence speaks volume for how he is really feeling. I do like seeing Kyle and Cartman become closer as friends, something that was teased at the end of the last episode. Bear in mind, these two have a long history of hating each other's guts, but the rare moments where they do work together does make for some hilarious character chemistry. And arguing about school vaccinations, the bulk of this episode satirizes the belief that vaccinations can cause autism or Asperger syndrome, and Cartman shares his hilariously ill-informed concerns about the shots. Kyle, of course, does correct him about how some groups believe childhood injections are responsible for autism or Asperger's, and Cartman latches onto the latter.
You are so lying. There is no disease called fucking Asperger's. You want to bet? Let's go ask my dad right now. Okay, you're on to.
Maybe the pronunciation here is an American thing. I've always known it to be Asperger syndrome, not Asperger syndrome. But whilst all of this is going on, Stan is completely ignored, and he remains introverted and just goes to school as normal. Making a rare appearance in the later seasons, Officer Barbrady catches the boys skipping school, and they're still arguing over the whole Asperger's thing, but I love the sound design and the focus, leading to Stan's outburst. It's as though he's hearing everything from a distance, and then he finally cracks.
God, shut up! Everyone just shut the fuck up!
Pushed to breaking point, it's tragic to see him so emotionally overwhelmed. And his meeting with the school counsellor, Mr. Mackey, is played for laughs, calling him a Debbie Downer, but with such an impactful moment of emotional vulnerability, Mr. Mackey genuinely seems taken aback. And keeping things on topic, he does suspect the flu vaccination Stan had previously may have caused Asperger syndrome.
I think he's got Asperger's.
In the typical Cartman fashion, he still can't believe there's a disease called Asperger's, so he makes some hamburgers and pays the school nurse a visit. It's a shame the show no longer uses Nurse Golem, which is kind of bizarre. This moment and this entire scene is just so silly, stuffing burgers in his underwear, literally Asperger's. Arguing over Stan's negativity with Wendy, Kyle agrees to positively embrace the next opportunity that comes along, which turns out to be Cartman Burger. And this entire plot thread was oddly quite wholesome, with the boys coming together to start a burger business even without Stan, and it becomes an overnight success, even attracting unwanted attention from huge fast food conglomerates. I appreciate South Park's approach when commentating on disabilities. Some communities have even praised the series for spreading accurate awareness, like the response they received for the Tourette's episode back in season 11. and Stan and his mother visit the Asperger's Research Center, bringing the social difficulties of the disease to the forefront. And left to attend a group therapy session, I love the absurdist humor and how it slaps you in the face. The rest of this story becomes an estranged parody of The Matrix, and led by a knockoff Morpheus, this group is known as the Society of Cynics who see beyond the false reality. Induced by alcohol, Stan is finally able to see beyond the shit and appreciate everything around him. Of course, this solution, if you can even call it that, he is 10 years old, is only a temporary measure. Then again, alcoholism and addiction does run in the Marsh family, and it's heartbreaking to see his unsuccessful attempt to approach Kyle and rekindle their friendship. His drunken behaviour seems to do more damage than anything, but I love Stan's drunken rant about how everything's not what it seems. Just like the classic episodes, together they'd bring it all crashing down. But things have changed, and Kyle prefers to stay with Cartman Burger, where things are more grounded and ordinary. I find it hilarious how these plot threads converge by trying to establish the secret ingredient that makes Cartman Burger so delicious. Cartman literally is the top secret flavor enhancer. With how much fast food he consumes, he gives the burgers in his pants the Dutch oven effect. And somehow, this makes them taste so much better, combining a multitude of fast food flavors. Interrupting the fast food executives, this moment never fails to make me laugh. Dressed in Matrix-themed attire, Stan drunkenly shoots up this meeting and then just passes out. It's incredible. I like how the writing is supposed to tease the audience into thinking everything will go back to normal. Stan is held at gunpoint by the fast food employees, forced to find out what the Cartman Burger's secret ingredient is. They even try to steal the flavor enhancer, only for the cynics to step in and brutally kill everybody. And I always find these moments of excessive violence funny, but Stan has had enough. And I like how he openly criticizes just how silly the plot is getting. He doesn't need to go on a journey of self-discovery for everything to go back to the way things used to be. He instead needs to grow up and accept that change is a natural part of life's progression. Without it, you get caught in a loop expecting different results from doing the same thing over and over. Despite this sequence being a breakthrough moment, the humor is drawn from the Deus Ex Machina effect, resetting things for next week. Randy and Sharon get back together, the family moves back to South Park, the lesson being, stick with what you know?
What?
It seems like a backhanded lesson, but I suppose it's a way of saying you need to appreciate what you have, rather than just blindly jumping to the next thing. And I appreciate how the writing is left ambiguous. Everything is supposedly back to the way it should be. Or is it? Anyway, that's going to do it for my review and discussion looking at the South Park episodes You're Getting Old and Asperger's. Overall, an exciting story idea that plays around with the show's formula. In doing so, it challenges the audience expectations, testing the waters of serialization. Of course, the series would later dive into this writing concept headfirst from season 19 onwards, for better or worse, but it's interesting to see these ideas executed in a somewhat polarizing way. Anyway, leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments what you think of these episodes, and for more content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, DVD Review Studios.
Are you threatening me?